Okay. So to pick up where we left off there with Erica's team, round 9, Robert Tunyon at tight end. Obviously, touchdown Tunyon last year caught a lot of touchdowns from Aaron Rodgers. Statistics would say that's probably going to come down a little bit, but just saying as somebody who's watched Green Bay for a lot of years and watched Aaron Rodgers his entire career, the guy throws the ball to people he knows are going to catch it. And Robert Tunyon caught a lot of touchdowns last year. I think people are going to be wrong saying that he's not going to be able to be a solid tight end again this year. I honestly think as long as he's able to keep catching balls and keep showing the upside that he did last year, he's going to keep getting targets from Aaron Rodgers. Now, obviously, their offensive line is a little injured here at the start of the season, so we might see their offense struggle a little bit. And I think people are going to be a little bit surprised by that. David Bakhtiari is out, okay? They have Corey Linsley gone, Pro Bowl center last year for the Packers, gone. I believe one of their starting guards, is also injured. They're going to struggle out the gate on offense, I think. So Robert Tunyon, we'll see. Curtis Samuel, fourth wide receiver for Erica, round 10. Knows the offense there in Washington with Ron Rivera. I think they're excited about having him back. I think he's a solid fourth wide receiver. Washington football team, one of my favorite defenses. Obviously, you score points on defense by not letting up yards, okay? They're a little weak in the secondary, but they got Landon Collins back. Solid safety. They got Kendall Fuller at corner. I think they're going to be okay. Obviously, that pass rush is nasty. Montez Sweat, Chase Young, demon on the defensive line. They got a really strong defensive line, and you get points for sacks. And I think they're going to get a lot of those. Michael Gallup, third wide receiver in Dallas. He's kind of the forgotten man there. There could be a few weeks, especially if one of the lead guys is down. Rashad Penny, solid backup. If Chris Carson gets hurt, she's still got a starting running back right there. I like the depth piece. Jacoby Myers, probably the only guy you want in New England, to be honest. Sorry, Dave, with the Aguilar pick that we're going to get later in the draft. I honestly think Jacoby Myers is going to be their slot guy, a la Wes Welker and Edelman in recent memory. Jason Sanders for the Dolphins at kicker. Erica is weak at wide receiver, obviously. But one of these guys might pan out. If she gets Juju, Curtis, Samuel, Michael Gallup, Jacoby Myers, one of those guys to pan out, she'll be just fine there. Probably needs another depth piece at quarterback at some point, but obviously not the most necessary need. Okay, on to Brent. We're going to pick up the pace here a little bit. Saquon Barkley at running back, James Robinson at running back, Mike Evans, DeAndre Swift. This is where he goes young. Poaches a lot of the guys I was really high on, to be honest with you. T. Higgins really wanted Jerry Jeudy. I think him and Teddy are going to be a fantastic duo. He really fits the type of football that Teddy likes to play. Accurate timing routes. Jerry Jeudy was always open last year. Drew Lock could not hit him to save the life of him. I think the story is going to be a lot different this year. We all know what Will Fuller can do. The question is, can Tua hit him on the deep ball? We'll see. Tom Brady, okay, solid lock for like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns a game with that offense. As long as he doesn't become old man Brady this year, I think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks that you could get in the later picks at quarterback. Antonio Brown, I was really high on Antonio Brown. Probably would have taken him in that round if he got back to me. If Antonio Brown is anything like the Antonio Brown that he used to be, he could be the leader in this offense, and to get him in round 9 is such a steal. Philip Lindsay, for my money, he's the starting running back in Houston. I know everybody thinks it's going to be David Johnson. I honestly think it's Philip Lindsay, and maybe we see David Johnson on third downs with his wide receiving prowess. Tony Pollard, everybody knows how good Tony Pollard is. If Zeke goes down, Tony Pollard is a top 15 running back easily. Mike Gesicki is a solid upside tight end there in Miami. Was really inconsistent last year, but very athletic and could definitely take a step forward this year. Denver Broncos defense, I think they're going to be sneakily good on defense. If they stay healthy, their front seven is one of the best in football as well. Obviously, Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, they got some fucking players up there in the front seven on Denver. We have Greg Zuerlein, a kicker for Dallas. Alexander Madison, obviously one of the other high upside backups. Brant, honestly, he has a lot of depth. The one thing I don't like about Brant's team is I think there's a lot of unproven depth there. there's a non-zero chance that Mike Evans is not the Mike Evans of old. Okay, caught touchdowns last year, but there was a lot of weird games where he had 3 catches last year and 2 touchdowns for 5 yards. Okay, if he doesn't catch those 2 touchdowns, that's literally 1 point. He did that multiple times last year. Obviously, he was a little banged up. We'll see. Another offseason with Tom Brady is not going to hurt. T. Higgins, I think, is honestly the best wide receiver in Cincinnati. I think he's going to be just fine. Jamar Chase might take a little bit away from him later in the season, but we've all seen the clips of Jamar Chase dropping balls all preseason long. I don't think he's ready yet. Jerry Jeudy, I think, is going to be the guy that really saves him at wide receiver. It could also be Antonio Brown. Out of those 5 guys, I honestly think 2 of them are going to be solid, so we're really nitpicking here. DeAndre Swift, I think, could be a little weak at running back just because Detroit, I think, is going to be god-awful on offense. So we'll see there. Okay, on to Cool Allen, New Allen, or however you want to style yourself. We have Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf, probably the best top wide receivers. In terms of depth, I still got to give it to Trish because of the DJ Moore coming right behind that. But honestly, who would not want to start their draft off with Devontae and DK? Every week, as long as those 2 guys are healthy, going to have a massive advantage there at the wide receiver position. And to be honest, it doesn't go downhill much after that. Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, solid running backs there. David Montgomery, we'll see about the upside, but we know he gets a ton of carries. I think Tariq Cohen is old. He obviously has him later in the draft here as a depth piece too. I don't really think he's going to do much this year. I think he's a little bit washed, but we'll see. Josh Jacobs, obviously, he should be a top 12 running back every year. John Gruden doesn't know how to use him. God knows why they brought in Kenyon Drake. I think Josh Jacobs is plenty able to fill that pass-catching role, but I think he's going to get poached by Kenyon Drake. But, we'll see. I just don't trust Gruden. Lamar Jackson, we all know what he can do. We don't need to talk about that. Obviously, huge upside with his legs. Kareem Hunt, anything happens to Nick Chubb, or even not, any game where Cleveland's facing a weak run defense, Kareem Hunt has massive value. We saw that all last year. Odell Beckham out of Cleveland as well. We'll see. Any given year, Odell Beckham could have a massive year again. It's just been so many years since we saw him be the Odell Beckham of old. Obviously, we know what Kevin Stefanski likes to do there in Cleveland. They love to run the ball. They love play action. They love getting Baker moving. They love having Baker throw to the tight ends. We'll see. Obviously, Odell Beckham is good for a 70-yard slant to the house anytime he touches the ball. To get him in round 7, probably a big steal there, but we'll see if he can stay healthy. Irv Smith, unfortunately, after the draft, announced out for the season. So that's a non-pick really there in round 8. He's going to have no relevance. But he's going to have an opening there to pick somebody up off of waivers. Noah Fant right after that. Probably going to be a solid tight end. I think there's going to be some weeks where he disappears, to be honest. I don't think there's a lot of touchdown upside with Teddy in Denver, but again, accurate quarterback, we'll see. Buffalo Bills, solid defense. Henry Ruggs could have a big year at wide receiver. Obviously, he was a first-round draft pick. He was drafted to be great. He hasn't been great. We'll see what he does. Year two wide receivers usually improve. We'll see what happens. Justin Tucker, best kicker in football talent-wise. We'll see if points-wise is the case as well. Matt Ryan, obviously, solid player there at quarterback. Can disappear some weeks, but throws the ball so much. Probably going to be a solid bye-week fill-in there at some point. Tariq Cohen, like I said, I think he's washed. At least he has a depth piece there for David Montgomery should he go down. Cleveland Browns a defense. I'm not sure why people in this draft chose to take 2 defenses if they did. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think you're just clogging up your bench, but that's my opinion. They are a solid defense, though, so no qualms there. Allen, I honestly only feel comfortable if I have 3 or 4 starting running backs. I see 2 on this board here, and I see one of them that potentially could lose all his passing work to his high-value free agent backup in Kenyon Drake there at Josh Jacobs. So I think he's going to struggle a little bit at running back. Everybody gets hurt at running back, and I think you need 3 or 4, and I really only see 2 solid starting options. Kareem Hunt, I would say, is a half, but I think you're going to need more than that at some point. Pretty solid everywhere else. Maybe needs one more solid wide receiver 3. That's all I can really pick out of Allen's team. Alan Taylor, Mr. Points Man himself from last year, Alan the OG Taylor, takes Taylor, the tool man, Jonathan Taylor, Wisconsin alumni, round 1. Taylor to Taylor. Great pick there. Joe Mixon, round 2. Terry McLaurin, round 3. Chris Godwin, round 4. Kyler Murray, round 5. Solid top 5 picks there. I really love running back, wide receiver, quarterback. I love when the draft falls to me like that. I felt like I had to get a top tight end this year. Otherwise, that's probably how I would have ran my draft as well. Javonte Williams, like I said, Denver loved him, drafted to be great. Like I said, though, I think Melvin Gordon's going to hold on to that role longer than people think. We'll see. Devonta Smith, everybody saw what he did at Alabama last year. Obviously set the record books on fire. All the talent in the world. Little small, but you know what? In the preseason, nobody could touch the man. Okay? It doesn't matter how small you are if you can't tackle him. All right? Jerry Rice was tiny, and we all know what he did. I think Devonta Smith's going to be great. The question is Jalen Hurts. Is Jalen Hurts good enough to get the ball to him consistently? We'll see. Jamal Williams, great wide receiving back. I saw what he could do when he was in Green Bay. I think Detroit's going to be terrible, and I don't trust Jared Goff. So I don't really like him that much, but you know what? He does have talent, and we'll see what he can do. Tyler Boyd, always a solid bet for 100 catches on the year. Touchdowns, I don't know. I think that's T. Higgins and Jamar Chase there, but I think he's going to rack up a lot of yards. Solid pick next year in the half PPR, even more than this year, but in the standard league, I don't think the touchdown upside's there, but he could be solid 7-8 points every week. Zach Moss, I already said what I thought of the Buffalo running backs. I did not want to touch him with a 10-foot pole. I think Josh Allen continues to score all the goal line touches there, touchdowns there, and they throw the ball so much. 4 wide receiver sets all day, and he has Devin Singletary there. I think they poach each other, and I think they don't score the touchdowns. So I don't really like him, but, I could be wrong. Marvin Jones, saw Trevor Lawrence hitting him at least 2 preseason games. If he becomes the favorite target of Trevor Lawrence, that could be a huge value in round 11 for Allen as his last wide receiver. San Francisco 49ers defense, obviously, if they stay healthy, one of the best in the league. They were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and they were a ferocious defense. If they're healthy this year, they could be great. Hunter Henry's been hurt all preseason. We'll see if he can stay healthy. Rob Gronkowski is old, but obviously caught so many touchdowns last year. I had him on my team. I know he could be great again this year. Taysom Hill. Okay, Taysom Hill might go right back to tight end. So Allen might have 3 tight ends there at the end. And obviously, you might get some magic there like we did last year where Taysom Hill played quarterback but was able to be played at tight end. I believe Jake Wilson had that luxury last year with being able to play 2 quarterbacks. It's pretty much guaranteed win when you can play 2 quarterbacks with how easy they're able to score points in that position. So we'll see. I think that's a great last pick. The upside there is huge. So Allen overall, I'm going to move a little quicker here. We only got 4 teams left, trying to buzz through them and get to my workout that I got coming after this. But Allen's team here is the depth again at running back. Like I said, I like to have 3 or 4 solid running backs. He's got 2 up top, but there's questions, okay? Jonathan Taylor's a young running back. He stumbled at times last year. He wasn't good out of the gate. Obviously picked up major steam at the end of the year. If he continues that, he's going to be great. Colts have one of the best offensive lines in the league. First-round draft pick. They're going to try to make him good. If he really has the talent, he will be great. Joe Mixon, if he stays healthy, will be great. But when's the last time we saw Joe Mixon stay healthy for a full 16 or 17 even this year? Big question mark there. Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, really solid there at wide receiver. But like I said, I think he's going to be a little weak at running back. All right, moving on to Bailey. Aaron Jones, no surprise there. Bailey, I think, has had Aaron Jones 3 years in a row now. We all knew that pick was coming. Love that she's a Packers fan, but it's getting a little downright predictable at this point. Austin Eckler, second pick. Obviously, who wouldn't be happy with Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler? Pass catching, explosive touchdown scoring back in Aaron Jones. Not so much touchdown upside with Austin Eckler as there is with Aaron Jones. For whatever reason, they just don't use him at the goal line. But he's a great back himself.